Hi, welcome to Bobby's Baking Blog. I'm Bobby, and this week we're going to make a 1920 hat from the Great Gatsby. This is what this hat was inspired by. It's just a sugar cookie, and when we get all done, we're going to put it on a beautiful little hat box. This is a pretty basic hat. We're going to do a bunch of different designs. So let me show you how I did this. I already have my sugar cookie made, and it's just my basic vanilla sugar cookie recipe. And I had used an egg cutter to cut out the shape, and then went back in to make this weird looking helmet, because most of those hats back then had that shape. So I'm going to bring in a piece of mocha cinnamon fondant that I have already rolled out on a pasta machine to a number 0. And I'm going to add some texture in with this linen rolling pin that we sell at Bobby's shop. You really want to get in there evenly and try and show as much of the texture as you possibly can. It looks like actual linen. And I'm going to come in here with my egg cookie cutter and cut around. Wipe that just to make sure I get it nice and clean. 1, 2. Clean up the edges just a tad. Alright. So now we have an egg. And we need it to fit the cookie. So I'm going to see where my cookie is at. And then I'm going to come in with the cookie cutter and take this portion of the egg out. And it can be used again later for something else. I am going to clean up my edges a little bit here. You want your finished product to be pretty. Going to measure it, make sure it works, and we're good. So now we're going to attach it, and I'm going to attach it with just, I have some water here in front of me. You could use alcohol, you could use piping gel, you could use apricot jelly. I just have the water in front of me for the decorations that we're going to add, so that's what I'm using. Normally I like to use alcohol because it evaporates and the fondant sticks really well. Alright, so we have our hat. And it looks a little funny right now. I'm going to bring in some black regular Fondant. I'm going to cut this with the FMN ribbon cutter, and I want a thinner brim than the ribbon cutter is allowing me to have. So I'm going to try and evenly just take a little piece off. It should work out fine because I have to cut it after I get it to fit. So I'm going to check it for size and see where I have to cut it. I like the way that looks, so that's good. So at this point, and this is a personal choice, it's easier for me to take a little bit of water and attach the brim and then cut it after I have it on. And tuck in my edges. So I'm bringing in my brim to the hat. You know, it's funny how some styles go in and out, and I haven't really seen this style hat since the 1920s. And I'm just cutting it with some fine scissors. Any fine scissors. I got these at a sewing shop. I think they're needlepoint scissors, to be honest with you. I'm just going to go in with this gem binding tool, even though I'm not binding. I just want to lift this brim up so that if someone was wearing it, they could see. And I kind of want to make it tuck in as if it was real fabric. Okay, with the same color fondant, I've already linen rolled it. This was rolled out on a pasta machine number 4. And if you don't have a pasta machine, just roll it thin. Not see-through thin, but thinner than you did your hat. Cut your big flower out first. Once you feel that it's to your mat, kind of give it a gentle scrub so that it comes out clean. Do the same thing with a little one. I'm going to try and coax this out with, this is just a fine point tool. I think I got it Kemper, of Kemper clays. A lot of the clay tools work really, really good for a fondant, as long as you haven't used them on clay. So I'm going to lay him down, and then I'm going to take him out. And really, this was a pretty simple design. I took a little bit of water, I put it to the side right here, of the brim of my hat. And the first one, I kind of just laid down, and then brought up each of the little petals where I wanted them to kind of lay. And just tucked a little water in underneath. So that they kind of have a little bit of movement to them. He does not want to stay where he's at. So I'm going to give him a little bit more of a V, I think. Just a tad more water, not too much. And put him into place. I want to be careful not to take out that lovely little linen roller that I put in. I won't be able to go back and do that once the flower's on the hat. I'm going to decide how I want the rest of this to be after I do this guy. I'm going to turn him over. I'm going to put a little bit of water on each petal. And I'm going to bring my 6-petal flower, and by the way, these were, if I didn't already say, these were Orchard 6-petal cutters. 1 through 4R. Those are available also in Bobby's shop. I'm just going to kind of get it to where I like it. I like that look. Kind of play with him after he's on a little bit. You just want to put just the teensiest bit of water into the center of your flower and set him on down. Don't want to make a hole, because then I'll have to go in with either some piping bead or a bead. And I don't really want that look right now. Alright, so now that he's on, I can see that this petal is laying too low. And doesn't have any movement, doesn't have any fabric quality like a ribbon type flower would have on a hat. So I'm just going to turn him just a smidge and lay him down with a little bit of water. Now when you get to the black, black is weird because it does bleed more than anything else. So be extremely stingy with your water. Like a 5-year-old in kindergarten with their crayons. And pretty much that's it. A 1920 hat. Which, like I said, later on will go on a hat box. And you can do whatever you want with your hat. You could add feathers. They had tons of feathers. I'm going to probably make a couple different designs. This is the only one that I'm going to show how I did, but there might be a couple different ones on the hat box when we get to that. So I will see you in the next video for hat boxes.